At the 2025 Game Awards, an all-new 3D action-adventure game was revealed. Here to tell us all about Bradley the Badger are Christian Cantamessa and Davide Stoliani, co-founders of developer Day for Night and co-directors of Bradley the Badger. Welcome.
Thanks a lot for having us here.
Congrats on the big reveal. I think the game looks awesome.
Thank you.
The two of you, this is your first game as Day for Night Studios, but you both have very impressive resumes in the games industry. Christian, you were lead designer on Red Dead Redemption and Manhunt, plus you have credits on numerous other games, GTA San Andreas, Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, and Rise of the Tomb Raider. And Davide, you were creative director on the two Mario plus Rabbids games, plus you worked on Just Dance, Beyond Good and Evil, many more. So a lot of experience between the two of you. Tell us how Bradley the Badger came together and why this is something that you wanted to collaborate on.
Okay, I'll start.
Yeah, let's go.
So this whole thing came together because we've been friends for 2 decades and a half, maybe more. We started out in the games industry together at Ubisoft Milan in the late 90s. And we've been in touch ever since. We've been talking about what each other was doing. And when one fateful day in October, which was my birthday in 2023, Davide, after wishing me happy birthday, asked me the classic question, what are you doing? How are you feeling? And I sort of went off on how I really thought it would be great to do something together, and I missed the old days when it was just a small group of people doing something exciting, and he kind of mirrored exactly my thoughts. And
it was the exact junction in time for us to start something together. Because back in the days when we started in Ubisoft, when we met in Ubisoft, actually, Christian started before, but the teams were composed by 20 people. So it was like a small warm family. And then everything changed in 27 years. So my last team was 480 people. So it was quite huge, and I'm sure the same for you at Perfect Dark.
Yeah, big teams, big responsibilities with big budgets, and so it was the impetus behind it was to kind of go back to the beginning in a way, and it all started from that phone call. Then after that, we were riffing on ideas at that point already.
How did you settle on a animal mascot 3D platformer?
I think that the start of it all was sort of what kind of game we felt like we could do together and what kind of a story we could do together. A big passion for me is storytelling. I've designed games and gameplay mechanics, but for me it's always been a medium to tell a story. And Davide is the master of player first game mechanics. And so it was always what can we do that has what you're a genius in and what I can contribute.
There is also a bit of what we loved when we were younger, like games from Rare, games from Nintendo. So I believe that Bradley is that kind of colorful and joyful mascot, but then the mechanics and the story are something completely new and innovative.
It's funny you mentioned games from Rare because in this trailer at the 8-second mark early on, he's got a banjo hanging on the wall.
Not just a banjo, but also a kazoo.
Oh, I didn't notice the...
It isn't just a banjo.
There is a small reference.
There's a whole gamography from Rare in some of those shots.
Yeah.
Yes, we are huge fans of Rare. They're amazing now, but in our heart, really, there is the Rareware of the 90s. Games that we grew up playing, but also games that were there while we were making games. We were doing Game Boy Color games, and we were playing Banjo Kazooie and Conker Bad for Day, and we were like, okay, we might as well just call it quits and go home.
Made us. Plus, our composer is Grant Kirkhope, so it was making perfect sense.
Yeah, that's great.
So in a way, we see ourselves as spiritually inspired by the Rare of that era.
And then the gameplay here is kind of, is it a game within a game? Bradley's aware he's in a game, and you're sort of parodying other games. Tell us about what makes the gameplay unique here.
So there's the story angle and there's the gameplay and the game mechanics angle, and both make the game fairly unique. The story is that, yes, Bradley finds himself in this strange game worlds that to him are completely alien. That's definitely not his village, and that's definitely not the sort of adventure that he's used to. And for us, these obviously are parodies of other games, because this whole game is a satire of the games industry and of the games that we play. So there's a little bit of industry satire and a little bit of gaming and game content sort of parody. And then, of course, in addition to that, we have all these cool new game mechanics that are inspired by this tool that Bradley finds that is allowing him to wield the power of a game developer.
Yeah, I think we saw that a little wheel pop up on screen there. There's scale, transfer, liquefy, gravity, volumify, at least that we can see from there. What's the idea? These are just tools that Bradley's going to be able to use to manipulate his environment?
Yeah, that's the whole idea. Players will be able, through these powers, to modify some elements of the environment around them and solve puzzle their own way. And we have been amazed during playtest of how players were finding different solutions, even solutions that we were not initially thought about. So it was crazy. It was even inspiring for us to say, this guy is trying to do that. Let's put it in game.
Mm-hmm. In the this Badgerborn world that we see here, the first world he sort of emerges to, that's sort of parodying, I don't know, some kind of a game that you might want to get good at. There's some like dark enemies there, and there's some like I don't know if it's blood, but there's a little bit of splatter there when he hits the enemies. So my question is, can I play this game with my 6-year-old son?
Yes, absolutely. We want to tell a story and make a game for all ages, and we're very much inspired by Pixar films and movies like the Lego Movie, Wreck-It Ralph. So really something that kids and young adults can enjoy for the content, for the mascot, for the gameplay, and then an adult can play it and find deeper meanings, outer layers, inner layers, and sort of like get some of the jokes that maybe a kid would just not immediately understand.
Plus, I will say that also our art director, which is Fabio Pochet, it's a great art director. It comes with a huge background from Disney, and he did a fantastic job at designing Bradley and putting these mascot from the 90s in words that are truly realistic in a way. So this contrast is working very nicely.
Yeah, I agree.
And of course it's a parody. So we are not taking ourselves super seriously.
Right. And one thing that we didn't mention is that all the powers kind of combine and stack with each other. So you can, you mentioned some of them by being attentive to the UI that we show in the trailer, but if you were to use scale in that object that you saw, the giant apple, for example, that already has been subjected to another power, which is transfer. So Bradley first transferred into that unfinished apple and then used scale to become giant, or you can shrink down, and you can combine all these powers together, and that's where the sandbox freeform puzzle solving comes from. You got to find your own solution to some of these powers.
Why scaling up? Maybe you want to destroy part of the environment or squashing enemies, and why scaling down? Maybe you want to sneak in some places.
Yeah, or sneaks past someone.
Yeah.
How did you settle on a badger as your hero animal?
So we were talking about like making this out of context mascot, right? That finds himself in these strange worlds where he doesn't belong, and we were thinking, what would be the most unlikely animal for a mascot inspired by these sort of 80s and 90s games that had all sort of animals. And initially we thought, we're gonna go with the honey badger because it's like it's such a nasty, untreatable, unlikable animal that we were like, we just wanna, we're just gonna embrace it. But then art-wise, working with Fabio and doing all the sketch work and everything, we really fell in love with the more traditional looking badger.
It's the American badger.
And then we just went like with the American badger as the sort of mascot for, not just for the game, but for our company as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there were lots of mascot platformers in the 90s, but I don't think there's been a Badger one yet. So
We did some research. We just didn't. We went for something that was not immediately out there in the in the collective unconscious, so to speak, but also something that again resonated. But the initial idea was to just do the most unlikely mascot character that, of course, becomes incredibly successful, right?
Exactly, that's the key part. So your reveal trailer here ends up in live action. Something is happening. It's a little unclear. Is there? I know you're setting up a little mystery there. Is there any sort of thing you want to leave fans on as they wait to hear more about Bradley the Badger?
Yes, there's definitely live action in there, and it looks as if somehow Bradley finds himself in another strange-looking world there, and
But why?
But why? And who's this strange person that he meets? That all those questions will be answered. But
Why they're meeting?
I think
One is screaming.
it'll be interesting because of course everything ties together. This is a bit of a tease, but it's also just not there just for a trailer.
It's a story that develops along with the game, and it's completely attached to the game. So each word has a correspondence in what is happening in live action, but for now we cannot say more than that.
And if maybe people pay attention to every single frame of live action and every single frame of the game, maybe they'll find even more connection.
Maybe, who can say? It all looks very cool. When are me and my son Kingo going to get to play Bradley the Badger?
It will be out when it's ready. So we need to wait a little bit more because we ventured in this journey because we want to do something like we like to do things. So we don't want to rush it. We cannot say the date now.
It's coming.
But it's coming.
I promise you and your son that the game is coming. We just this is a labor of love, and we just want to put all the love that we and our team has into this project, so that when it comes out, people are going to be hopefully as excited about it as we are.
I'm excited. It really does look cool. Can't wait to see more. Viewers, for more on Bradley the Badger and all things video games, stay tuned to IGN.